Now at 5, loved ones remember the life of and say goodbye to 19-year-old Caden Barber. Plus, a Joplin organization raises a record amount of money for area hospitals, and
a former president facing federal charges. I'm Chelsea Jones with more on this historic arraignment of Donald Trump and how his presidential bid moves forward.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Former President Donald Trump has arrived at a federal courthouse in Miami, Florida to be arraigned on dozens of charges related to the handling of government documents. This is KOAM News at 5. I'm Dow Quick. Reporter Chelsea Jones has more now from Miami.
Miami police officers met demonstrators outside the federal courthouse where former President Donald Trump appeared for his arraignment on felony charges.
We want Trump! We want Trump!
Supporters and protesters brought their opinions of the case.
This whole country has been brainwashed.
Sad day in America. It's surreal. Can't believe it.
Inside the courthouse, the former president pleaded not guilty all 37 counts. He is accused of illegally retaining classified documents, storing them at his Mar-a-Lago home, and conspiring to hide them from the government after it subpoenaed him to get them back.
What we are witnessing today is the blatant and unapologetic weaponization of the criminal justice system.
While this is one of several investigations into Trump, this is the first time the Justice Department has brought charges against a former president. In announcing the indictment Friday, Special Counsel Jack Smith maintained the case is not politically motivated.
We have one set of laws in this country, and they apply to everyone.
Trump, who is the current frontrunner for the Republican presidential nomination, has seen his poll numbers go up since his indictment. Chelsea Jones, CBS News, Miami.
Trump plans to head back to his New Jersey golf club to rally with supporters and meet with campaign donors tonight. Pretty nice day out there. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Doug Heddy.
Yeah, it turned out to be a great Tuesday so far. Partly sunny skies, temperatures fantastic. Most of us into lower 80s for afternoon highs, and we've had partly to mostly sunny skies. Not a whole bunch is going on out there for us right now. We do have severe weather down across northern parts of Texas and then again out across the panhandles of Oklahoma and Texas. But this is not going to affect us as we go through the evening hours. We're going to stay dry. About 80 to 82, 83 degrees. We're going to tumble back as we go through the evening hours, mainly staying dry. We may get a few thunderstorms that try to scoot in late tonight into early tomorrow morning, especially our western counties. But until then, I think we look pretty good. So if you want to get outside this evening, we fall back through the 70s into the 60s. We do have thunderstorm chances the next few days. We're going to look at that here in just a bit.
See you soon. Family and friends gathered today in Pittsburgh to remember the life of and celebrate the life of 19-year-old Caden Barber. Last week, he was found unresponsive in the pool of the Pittsburgh YMCA, where his family says he was training in preparation for going to the Navy. He grew up in Pittsburgh and graduated from Pittsburgh High School in 2022. During his time at PHS, Caden was a standout athlete, excelling on both the football field and on the wrestling mat. Today's service was held at Pittsburgh's Memorial Hall. Hospitals throughout the 4-state area today received a generous donation. The Joplin chapter of Women with a Mission donated more than $113,000 to community hospitals in the area for needed improvements. Hospitals like Mercy Carthage and Mercy Columbus will use these funds to replace outdated and older equipment, as well as make improvements to the facilities.
I hope that they hear that and see that we're here to help, that we're here to see the needs of the patients in our community, and that we will rally together to raise money to get patients and families and visitors things that they need.
We are so blessed to have these women come together and understand and recognize the needs in a small hospital.
We're going to take a deeper look into how Mercy Hospital in Columbus will use these funds to help further improve their facility coming up tonight at 6. KOAM today partnered with Service Solutions, Inc. in Miami to say thanks to all of our first responders. Together, we held our second annual First Responders Appreciation Day in Miami. First responders were treated to a lunch as a way to show how much we value all they do for the community every day.
I mean, these are always just a blessing. Anytime you're in the community, you see people. Unfortunately, you know, they call 911, it's not always the best, but days like this, we truly get to celebrate being a community and being a family. It feels great to know that people kind of care enough to, you know, put together lunch when we can kind of rest and repose and just get to greet and say hi to each other.
The lunch was held at the Sacred Heart Catholic Church in Miami. There's no timeline for when a collapsed section of I-95 in Philadelphia will be open to traffic again. Part of the elevated highway crumbled Sunday after a tanker truck caught fire under it. The driver of that truck was killed. With demolition work underway before the rebuild begins, Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg toured the damage today. He promised federal assistance to rebuild and reopen a major artery that normally carries about 150,000 vehicles per day.
We're going to continue to be here every step of the way for as long as it takes, with both financial backing and any other technical support that's needed.
Local officials are expected to announce a rebuild plan as soon as tomorrow. In the meantime, they've added extra service to commuter rail lines in that area. Denver police say they have 2 suspects in custody on weapons charges after 10 people were wounded in a shootout last night. Authorities say an altercation broke out while fans were celebrating the Denver Nuggets' first ever NBA championship. Authorities say none of the wounded patients have life-threatening injuries. They believe 5 or 6 of them were innocent bystanders. The others had some involvement in that altercation, they say. Still ahead, good news at the grocery store.
New data shows the inflation rate has dropped to its lowest level in 2 years. I'm Skyler Henry and will show you how it could affect interest rates.
And next in Health Watch, health officials are warning of a dangerous side effect of a common weight loss surgery to address childhood obesity. Topping today's Health Watch, an FDA advisory panel voted unanimously to affirm the Alzheimer's drug lecanemab shows clinical benefit for treatment of the disease. The move paves the way for the medication sold under the brand name Leqembi to be considered for full FDA approval. An FDA decision is expected by July 6th. The medication, which is monoclonal antibody, is one of the first dementia drugs that appears to slow the progression of cognitive decline. People with obesity have a reduced brain response to nutrients in food, and it doesn't improve even after weight loss. That's according to researchers with Amsterdam UMC and Yale University, who found those with obesity release less dopamine in the area of the brain that's important for food intake. That means their brain isn't rewarding them properly to signal they're full or satisfied while eating. A common weight loss surgery to address childhood obesity might have a troubling downside. Reporter Bradley Blackburn explains.
Weight loss surgery is on the rise for obese adolescents and young adults, but a study in the journal Radiology finds a common procedure may have harmful effects on their bones. The surgery is known as sleeve gastrectomy, which removes about 80% of the stomach. Researchers tracked patients between 13 and 24 years old with moderate to severe obesity. They found that 2 years after the procedure, there was a decrease in bone density and strength in the lumbar spine. The study says that could indicate a long-term impact on bone health and the risk of fractures later in life. Researchers also point out that adolescent years are a critical time for building up bone mass. Sleeve gastrectomy procedures have increased from over 28,000 in 2011 to over 122,000 in 2020, becoming the most common type of weight loss surgery. Earlier this year, the American Academy of Pediatrics released new guidelines on childhood obesity for the first time in 15 years. Doctors are now recommending that children be treated early and aggressively, including with medication and surgery. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
About 15% of U.S. children were recently treated for mental health disorders. That's according to new research released by the CDC. The findings suggest conditions like attention deficit hyperactivity disorder or anxiety are common among school-age children. Most treatments happened among adolescents between 12 and 17 years old. The Food and Drug Administration has drafted new guidance on tattoo ink to protect consumers from microorganisms that can cause infections. The FDA is offering recommendations to help manufacturers and distributors identify when ink is contaminated with bacteria or mold and how to prevent it as well. Since 2003, there have been at least 18 recalls due to microorganisms. That is a look at today's health news. A little bit later, Walmart announces plans for a new $250 million facility in Kansas. We'll tell you where and what it'll be for.
Plus, we have some thunderstorm chances increasing for us tomorrow. We're going to look at that coming up. Well, definitely turned out to be a nice day for us today. Partly to mostly sunny skies. Temperature's great. Most of us kind of in that 80 to about 82 degree range, and it looks good for us right now. Nice shot. Indigo Sky Casino and Resort, of course. Indigo just outside of Seneca, Missouri. You can actually see mostly sunny skies, and I think that's what we're going to see as we go through the evening hours. Temperatures good, 80 in Iola, 83 in Nowata. We have Neosho sitting at 80, Carthage also checking in at 80. And here's a good thing, because once we get into the summer months, we always get a lot of humidity, but we're not dealing with that right now. Look at our dew points, kind of in that 50 to 55 degree range, which puts us in that refreshing to pleasant kind of category, and that's what we're going to see for the next day or two. And then the humidity is going to start to come up. 81 currently outside, west northwesterly winds 5 to 10. If you're getting out this evening, looks fine. We'll drop back through the 70s, eventually into the 60s, near 60 once again for us later on tonight. So a nice night on tap for us. Nothing going on here, any severe weather or any thunderstorms at all down through northeastern parts of Texas, northern parts of Louisiana, and then again out through the panhandles of Oklahoma and Texas. And some of these may try to scoot across northern parts of Oklahoma later on tonight. And we could get a few isolated thunderstorms in here late tonight into the morning hours. But as this wave right here pulls out over the next 24 hours, it's going to up our chances for scattered thunderstorms once again as we get into tomorrow late morning into the early afternoon. All right, let's step through time. Here's midnight, a couple scattered thunderstorms. A few of these guys may scoot in, especially our southern counties, late tonight into tomorrow morning. Most of you will end up staying dry tonight. We start into lower 60s. As we go through the morning, some scattered thunderstorms try to pop up and increase through the afternoon. They're going to be very hit and miss, but we are going to have them out there tomorrow afternoon. High temps, mid 80s. Any scattered thunderstorms we do see, here's 3:30 in the afternoon. You can see them popping up Kansas into southwestern Missouri. Should be out of here by early to mid evening tomorrow evening. Then we're clear. We drop back mid 60s again to start the day on Thursday. Thursday looks fine. We see partly sunny skies, a little bit hotter, upper 80s to near 90 degrees. And then again, Thursday night into Friday morning, we'll most likely get a complex that drives in, once again, giving us some scattered showers and thunderstorms. All right, day planner for you tomorrow, 64 to start, scattered thunderstorms in the afternoon, high temp right around 83 degrees. Let's look into the weekend, of course, Father's Day weekend. We have this complex driving in Friday morning. Then I think Friday afternoon looks good. I think Saturday in general looks good. It's going to be hot. Thunderstorms in again Saturday night into Sunday morning. So we do have the chances as we go through the next several days. 83 tomorrow, 88 Thursday, 86 on Friday. Up to 92 Saturday, so it heats up a little bit. Morning thunderstorms Sunday, so I'll keep the temps down just a bit, and then back near 90 as we go through most of next week. And of course, the official start of summer early next week, so it's actually going to be feeling like it.
Yeah, for sure. And thunderstorms, if we get some more.
Yeah, we need it.
You bet. Thanks, Doug. Well, they need them in Canada. Wildfires are likely to continue in Canada. The fire season there has just started and it's already breaking records. That means more Americans could see more hazy skies. The Canadian Forest Service is predicting the fire season, which lasts all summer, is going to be worse than usual. Since the fires are often started by lightning, fueled by dry weather and happen in rural areas, there's just not much anyone can do to stop them. For people who live on the eastern seaboard in the U.S., hazy skies could return. Coming up, we're going to break down the latest inflation report and what it could mean for interest rates. Topping today's Consumer Watch, Walmart announced it's going to be building a more than $250 million facility in Kansas. That facility is going to be located in Olathe and will be the retail giant's first ever fully owned and operated case-ready beef facility. The 330,000 square foot facility will create 667 new permanent jobs when operational, as well as 1,000 design, fabrication, and construction jobs to build it. Construction is set to begin later this year with a planned opening date in 2025. Hey, good news for shoppers. A new government report shows inflation continues to improve. Reporter Skylar Henry has a look inside the numbers.
Prices at the pump ticked up a few cents in the past week, but look like a deal compared to this time last year. AAA says on average, drivers are paying $8.42 less for a gallon. That means major savings for Peter Esbicki, who has a very long commute.
When I drive to work, it's about 100 miles one way and then 100 miles back the other way.
The drop in energy costs is a big reason why inflation continues to ease. Overall, prices rose just 4% in May, way down from last June when price hikes hit a peak of 9.1%. There's less sticker shock at the grocery store. Prices are still rising, but some staples are falling. Bacon is down nearly 10% in the past year, and eggs plummeted almost 14% in just 1 month.
And that was the largest drop in egg prices since 1951.
The new data comes as the Federal Reserve considers its latest move on interest rates.
The board has increased rates 10 times since March of last year in an attempt to slow inflation, but those hikes may be coming to an end.
This report bolsters the argument that the Fed will likely pause in its interest rate hiking campaign.
The Fed will reveal its decision on Wednesday, and experts believe interest rates could stay unchanged in the coming months, as long as inflation continues to weaken. Skylar Henry, CBS News, Washington.
Now, while overall inflation is easing, some items continue to rise rapidly. Rent prices are up almost 9%. Pet food has increased nearly 14% in the past year. When it comes to living large, baby boomers are at the top of the list. Meanwhile, younger Americans are struggling just to keep up. Internal data from Bank of America shows a significant gap in spending has opened recently between older and younger generations. While baby boomers and the generation before them are spending their money on traveling and fancy restaurants, Gen X, Gen Z, and millennials are cutting back as they grapple with high housing costs and looming student debt payments. Lawmakers in the House of Representatives are expected to pass 2 bills the Republicans say protect the consumer's ability to buy and install gas stoves. They say that ability is under threat, pointing to local cases like a recent ban in New York City and proposed efficiency standards by the Department of Energy. The department argues the proposals are intended to boost energy efficiency for new products and would not go into effect until 2027. They emphasize it's not trying to do away with gas stoves. A final check of the forecast next. Up next on the CBS Evening News, a look at the technology being used to reduce crash risks for electric vehicles. Then on KOAM News at 6, MoDOT has closed a bridge as part of I-44 east of Joplin. Well, it's causing some big backups and safety concerns. We'll have details. Plus, a lot of area businesses rely on college students for much of their business. We're going to see how they stay afloat over the summer. And the Pitt State basketball team is helping local kids shoot for their dreams with a youth camp. Stay with us, CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. Beautiful evening out there, blue skies, nice temps.
Looks great. If you want to get outside this evening, temperature is fantastic. We drop back through the 70s into the 60s. 83 tomorrow. We are going to have some pop-up late morning, afternoon thunderstorms. Thursday looks great, and then a band of storms Friday morning.
Thanks for joining us. The CBS Evening News is next. And of course, we're going to be right back here for KOAM News at 6. See you then. Let's make it a great evening.